first of all, to go back, one thing, when I started in 2008, and I'm a first generation entrepreneur, and we started off from Novotel in Hyderabad. That was our first outlet. And the key criteria was to replace my US income. So I had to scale up as fast as I could, because everybody I met thought I was a big idiot to quit everything in the US and start off from scratch. And we did not have that much of PE activity back then. So it was all self-funded, and whatever capital that I had saved during my tenure in the US, I had to plow back into the business and start off from scratch. So when we won the bid for the operating a spa in Hyderabad airport, I literally had sleepless nights for almost 5 to 6 days trying to understand, staying in Jubilee Hills, how can I manage a store in Shamshabad? Believe it or not, that is the truth. In 2008 end. But then once we managed to do that, the biggest solution to that problem, what I discovered was, worst case, I'll go and stay in Shamshabad and run the store. But it's an opportunity, so let me not go. Precisely what he was talking about. So once we were successful, we figured that the only way that you could scale the business is either from the same store you expand and hit a maximum revenue per square feet, or you expand vertically, I meant to say geographically, with more number of stores. And we figured that you have to have a right balance between both, because any particular store will have infrastructure limitations, geographic limitations, throughput per square feet, etc. So we figured we really have to scale up if I have to replace my US income. And once we started doing that, we went to Hyderabad airport. We were quite successful. After the third month, fourth month, we realized that again, retail is very critical when you really want to create a brand. I felt very happy when so many people recognize the brand. But we are a self-funded company. We don't have any outside investor. And the biggest reason, the single most important idea that I had was very contrary to a lot of people. What a lot of people would suggest is, when you go into a new city, you go to the most expensive location in that city. And that is what I had always felt. And the location is very, very expensive, because obviously it has a maximum number of eyeballs. Maximum number of people are going in. And typically the most highest footfall generator in any city is the airport. So we figured that we really have to expand into airports first. And once we are successful in that particular city, it's much easier, because you have a successful store running. So the city's morale is very high. Team is very motivated. So then you can go into the city to open more stores within the city. And as far as international is concerned, what I had realized was, when I did the analysis of our rentals that we were going to pay in different parts of the country, like Mumbai and Delhi, we've expanded into Bangalore, we've expanded into Chennai. We operate 17 cities in India, and with 56 stores operational in India. And if I had to go to 150 stores, and the revenue that I was making with those 150 stores, and the rental that I would be paying in Mumbai, Delhi, etc., would be far, far higher compared to some international space where I would pay, because of the currency advantage. First important reason why we looked at international expansion was the currency leverage that we would have. The second important reason is, right now we operate stores in Ranchi and very remote locations like Nagpur, etc. I realized that as top management sitting in Hyderabad, if we have to go to Ranchi, I have to take a 2-hour flight to Delhi, have another couple of hours of overlap, layover, and then take another flight to Ranchi. For me, from Hyderabad to UAE, we have 5 flights just to Dubai per day. And it's a 3-hour journey. So I figured UAE can be a market that you can really look at as an opportunity. Then what I did is, I analyzed what are the retailers who are operating in India as well as UAE, and what are the revenues that they are making vis-a-vis India compared to the UAE. And one company that I closely followed was Kaya Skin Clinic. How many of you guys know Kaya Skin Clinic? There you go. So what's interesting is, Kaya operates over 120 stores in India and only operates 18 stores in UAE. And 76% of revenue of Kaya comes from UAE market. This is a very startling revelation, and it's a public limited company. So then I realized this is a market that I need to go after. And it took us more than 2.5 years to actually establish. So the first 2 rounds, I went, personally visited, stayed, took services in different places. Then I realized, again, coming back to Shesha's question, is there a market opportunity? I think that is the single most important question that we need to ask ourselves. It's very easy to think that, okay, I can go, but is there a market opportunity? We realized that, unlike in India, where we are trying to grow the market, as a spa concept, you know, it's a culture change that people have to go get used to going to spas and then go. Whereas because we had people from 200 nationalities, the culture was already there. People were already exposed to spa business. And there were already a lot of spas. But one big advantage that I saw is there's no single operator. Most of them were mom and pop operators. So I felt there is an opportunity to create a brand. That is a big reason why we started looking at UAE as a market. And right now we operate 8 stores. It's been 1 year, 4 months. We've entered the UAE market. Since 2 years we've studied. 8 months we've not done anything, just studied the market, interviewed a lot of people. That's another strategy. You can interview people from your competitors to understand their business plan in terms of whether they are actually profitable or not. Does it make business sense? It's, as a startup, it's the cheapest way to understand whether there is a market opportunity or not. So based on that, we've analyzed and we're going good so far.